Takes from the Deep End.
All right, fellas. It's Takes from the Deep End time. So just as a recap, again, one more time, these are not our takes. These are not our opinions. These are gathered from our fans, from comments on our videos, from live comments on our shows, and from all of our social medias. So the first one will go to you, Taylor. Takes from the Deep End. How would you grade Chris Grier's free agency so far?
Ooh.
You know what? This is to everyone. We'll start with Taylor.
That's a real tough question.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I had a lot of these players marked as people on my radar, so I can't sit here and be like, "Well, wish they got more big name free agents." This was a middling free agent class, in my opinion. He's done a pretty good job. I really do. I'd give it about a B plus.
Excellent. What about you, Keith?
Without knowing the plan fully fleshed out as to who his other starting guard is going to be. Is it going to be Larry Borum, or is it going to be a guy you draft, or is it going to be a Brandon Sheriff type that you bring in free agency? Without knowing who their center fielder type of safety is going to be, their cornerback too, I have to give him an incomplete right now. I don't have a grade.
Okay.
I don't know what his plan is. Until I know what his plan is fully fleshed out, he doesn't get a grade.
Cool. What about you, Anthony?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I gotta give him a grade, Keith. Come on, we're in the analysis business here.
Yeah.
I would say my instant reaction is a C, because we've mostly just signed depth at this point. You know, not a whole lot of starters, but given the amount of the money that's being handed out in these contracts, I understand why. I think there's something to be said for having your price and sticking to it. But like I said in our group chat, boys, that looks real stupid if you miss the playoffs again because you didn't want to spend up a little bit. So right now, I'll give him an average grade.
And
like I changed my grade.
Nope.
Sure, Taylor, go ahead and change it.
No, he can't.
I was going to just say a B just because Keith makes a great point when it comes to, if Larry Borum is the answer at guard, that changes a lot.
Yeah, that grade goes down exponentially.
Yeah, and if it's a depth piece and we're drafting somebody or we're getting somebody later, this is good move, a lot of upside there. So I'm happy saying a B.
I love it. I love it. Excellent. All right, Anthony, coming to you next, buddy.
Let's go.
Takes from the Deep End. Word is that the Dolphins spoke to multiple high-quality free agents who signed elsewhere due to the Phins being steadfast in their price point for each player and their unwillingness to budge. Do you like this? Do you think that I know. Do you think that this is the right approach?
I just commented on that. Listen. No, not really, but maybe. So like these are questions that we should save and revisit after like the draft and everything is done, so we can kind of look back and post June 1st, look back and say, hey, did that make sense now that we have the whole picture? Like I said before, this makes a ton of sense. If in your plan you have 5 or 6 guys and you said this is how much we're willing to spend, safety we're willing to spend between maximum $5 million a year. So we sent 4 or 5 guys offers of a $4 million a year contract or whatever, and we got the one guy, Melifon, who was the one guy who wanted that deal. When it looks really stupid is if you went through all this careful planning and put this team together and the team is trash and you miss the playoffs as you watch the Patriots get better. I would say the Jets, but they suck. And, the Bills are going to likely dominate the division again. They've done a lot to get better as well here in this, free agency period so far. We have 11 draft picks though.
Yeah.
Maybe they love this draft. I don't know. Like they could be in their room right now saying, we really love this draft. We're not going to waste money on free agency because we want to try to move up in this draft and get more first rounders, or we want to get more day 2 picks or something like that. I have no idea. But if just think about it, if you go out here having done this whole strategy and then you get fired next offseason, are you going to feel good about the fact that you were so stingy in this offseason? It is a bold strategy, is what I'll say there.
It's bold strategy, Cotton.
Yeah.
if it works out for him.
Yeah. What about you guys? You guys have any thoughts on this? I mean, do you like this? Do you not like this? I mean,
well, to Anthony's point, you signed Zach Wilson for $6 million. I think we can all agree that Marcus Mariota was a better fit for what the Dolphins are trying to do offensively. Should Tua go out for $2 more million, you could have had Marcus Mariota. There is something to be said about drawing your line in the sand and saying this is it. I'm not going any higher than this. But it feels like they're kind of going from one extreme to the other. Yeah. And also to Anthony's point, y'all might not have a job next season.
Yeah.
You're gonna really be kicking yourself as you're sitting on your couch next season saying, wow, this next guy's spending all the money that I saved this offseason.
Getting a thank you card from your next
Yeah.
What about you, Taylor?
I think it's tough because I agree with Keith and Anthony here generally. But if you look at the context of this free agency class, that's where it gets a little muddy. And that's not to say that Milton Williams isn't going to be good. There's a very good chance he ends up being great for the Patriots, right? But you look at his production, aside from the highlight plays he was making for the Eagles in the Super Bowl run they had, he's still somewhat like a projection. Was kind of rotating in and out, didn't have the crazy snap count as somebody like Christian Wilkins the year prior, but got paid along the lines of Christian Wilkins, And that's kind of what it is across the board. Like there was names that I wish we did go after, like Hufanga, but you look at Drake Greenlaw being the top linebacker, one of the top linebackers, because a lot of them got re-signed right before free agency. And Greenlaw's coming off an Achilles injury, and there's still questions there. So I agree generally, but this class leaves a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and my only thought was that they were leaning into it. The philosophy they were leaning heavily into was we got to get younger.
Yeah,
at key positions,
the crazy part is that like these guys made so much more money than I thought they would. When we were doing like picking out free agents we wanted to target, I was trying to carefully pick guys who I didn't think would make a ton of money. And then Hufanga signs for $15 million a year. Paulson Adebo signs a huge contract, which is wild.
Ian Fries, I thought he was going to average like no more than 10.
Yeah, we were talking about Milton Williams signing for 10 to 12. He signed for 26. Like it's been absolutely nuts.
Yeah. Will Fries was a guy like Josh and I know you and I we identified him early on in free agency, and he got double what I thought he was going to get.
He got quadruple what I thought he was going to get. I mean, like triple. I can't do math.
Taylor, to your point with Milton Williams, like Milton Williams also had the benefit of playing next to the best defensive tackle in the NFL last year.
Yep.
He played, so he had Jalen Carter next to him eating up every single one of those double teams. So if you're not eating, then there's something wrong with you because, I
will say I'm kind of happy we stayed away from the Philadelphia, attraction there because Milton Williams looked way better, like you said, but Josh Sweat looked way better too.
Yes,
Josh Sweat's been around for a while. He's never looked that good, and then all of a sudden he's on an incredible defensive line, and he looks amazing, and he goes and gets paid too.
Yeah, and if you want to go away from the Eagles of it all, look at somebody like Aaron Banks. Went from the Niners to the Packers, got paid massively to do so.
Yep.
And I don't know about you guys. He was somebody on my board that I had very low. Like, I hope the Dolphins don't go after him. I saw that contract. It was like, well, no matter what we did not pay Aaron Banks. I'll take it.
I like it. All right, Keith, you're getting the next one, bud.
All right, let's do it.
And this kind of goes right into this take, what we were just talking about. Takes from the deep. The diamonds in the rough free agent strategy is not a terrible one. However, it does mean that you need to crush the draft. # all or nothing.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
And I agree. And the diamond in the rough thing, like that's kind of what the Dolphins did last year, and they had some hits. Jordan Brooks was a hit. Kendall Fuller was a hit. Calais Campbell hit. They got lucky in that regard last year. They also had a decent draft class last year, in my opinion.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
So, when you bring in Chop Robinson with your first pick, I wasn't happy about it at the time. But after the season, it's like, I can't fault their strategy here. Patrick Paul looks like he could be the left tackle of the future. Jalen Wright's going to be a contributor to this team. Malik Washington. Mo
Yeah.
Kamara is a guy who might come on this year. We might see a little bit more from him this year. It was a good draft class. They hit some diamonds in the rough. It was a good off season last year.
Mm-hmm.
But is this strategy sustainable?
No.
I don't know.
We'll see.
don't know.
We'll find out real quick.
Yeah,
I promise you
We'll
that.
find out because they're using the same strategy this offseason.
Yep.
Except this year they have more ammo in the draft.
Yep.
So
And more ammo in the cap space, which is crazy to me.
yeah. So we'll see how this turns out. I don't think they're done in free agency, and the draft is going to just be super interesting. I'm really looking forward to diving deep into that.
Yeah. Yep. And I got one more for Anthony and one more for Taylor. And then I think we can call it a show tonight, fellas. I really am excited about these last two, though. All right, Anthony, takes from the deep end. If the chance were to present itself, would you pull a trigger on Fred Warner? And if so, what do you think the cost would be?
Oh, that's tough. I mean, how old is he now? I feel like he's been around forever.
I mean, he's still one of the best linebackers in the league, though.
So he's under contract then with the 49ers still?
I believe so. Yeah. I didn't look.
Fred Warner will turn 29 during the season, Anthony.
Jesus, I thought he was like 38. Okay, yeah,
I did too. I feel like he's been around for a day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If the opportunity presented itself, I would pull the trigger on that because then we don't have to use a draft pick on that position.
Well,
what would the cost be? Well, yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
If you're telling me we can get him for a third,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a third round pick that's as good as Fred Warner.
No.
You know, if we can get him for a fourth, even better.
Well, let's say it cost. Let's say if we trade back, right, for some reason in the draft, we somehow move down or we acquire a lower second round pick, right?
Sure.
And that's what they're asking. Would you think that's too much?
No.
Yeah.
Lock me in. Lock me in, baby. Inject it in my veins. Okay.
I like it.
It's Fred Warner, dude.
I know. All right. Super quick. Keith and Taylor, what are your guys' thoughts on this before I move on to the last one?
First round pick, no. Anything after the first round, sign me up.
Perfect. Even our current second round pick?
Yeah, I'd do it.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I would do it
Fred
too.
Warner's that good, man. He's that much of a game changer.
What about you, Taylor?
Wouldn't give up a first or second, but third or later,
okay,
definitely would.
I like it. Awesome. All right, Taylor, coming to you last, buddy. Well, really coming to the group probably. All right, takes on the deep end. I wouldn't mind going out and locking up Keenan Allen. We don't need him to be the number one option here. Just a consistent and polished number 3. Thoughts?
Keenan Allen, the wide receiver?
Yeah. This was probably before. This is probably, I might have grabbed this one before the Westbrook and Keenan pick, but I don't think, what are your thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I talked about, getting younger, and you talked about that too. Like, that's something that I really want the Dolphins to do. And that means, like, hey, late in the draft, somebody's there. Sure, pick them up, but I'm good with Westbrook or Keenan as the third, fourth option. All
right. What about you, Keith?
Yeah, I'm with Taylor on this one, but not for the same reasons. Like, if we didn't have a Malik Washington on the team,
fair.
Westbrook or Keenan doesn't play into this. If we didn't have Malik Washington on this team, I would say because Keenan Allen does most of his work out of the slot. But that's where he does his best work. He's a great route runner. He's got great hands. He's a great locker room guy. Wouldn't mind having him here, but I think that would stunt the growth and development of Malik Washington. And I'm really excited about his prospects in the upcoming season.
I love it. What about you, Anthony? Final thoughts?
On the flip side, boys, our wide receiver room is a freaking kid's playground right now. We need some leadership in there. Tyreek Hill over there, who the hell knows what he's doing, right?
With his tall woman fetish.
Yeah, I mean, we need some real leadership in the wide receiver room. This guy's a part-time player at this point in his career. He really lost a step last year with the Bears. You could see it. I mean, if he was willing to come in and be a rotational guy, I don't know if he would even take that opportunity, but I would definitely be willing to sign him. I think he brings a strong leadership, especially for Jalen. Jalen's looking up to Tyreek now. That's not great. That's not a great person to look up to, in my opinion.
That's not a good look.
And Jalen's going to miss 6 games anyway, so what's the difference? He'll get some playtime.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, fellas. Well, just want a quick shout out. Thank you to all of our fans, all of our viewers, all of our commentators. I can never say that word correctly. For submitting your hot takes on the Dolphins. I will continue to keep an eye out for them, and we will pull them on and we will present them to our host during Takes from the Deep End every show. Thanks, guys.